I built this computer 15 years ago when AMD first came out with quad-core processors. I paid quite a bit of money, almost $2,000 to build this machine back then. I realized that technology is in different places now, and that's not what it is, but we're going to use it. And we need to do some upgrades to it. And today what we're going to show you is how to do an upgrade on the video card. The video card we purchased is this one here from Amazon, and as you see, it's 1 gigabyte, and it has DVI and VGA and HDMI output. I believe it's Ultra HD, and it comes with the install CD for the drivers and utilities, and this is the monster we're putting in there. This is a 1 gigabyte. I believe the onboard one for this MSI board maxed out at 256 megabytes, and that used shared memory out of the 2 gigabytes of memory that are on the chip that's installed. And excuse me, this should be some serious upgrade for this. So the way we want to do that is we have to take out this one screw here in the back. I'm sorry, out of here, and this will slide back and come off now. But just so you know, I am a computer geek and I am a professional. Then this comes up and off. And now, hopefully you can see this. You have to pull this clip out on this one. Some of them have screws in here. And then now this will slide out. And you have to take this bar out. And make sure the machine's off if you're going to do this, and unplugged. And then this part slides in the hole in the slot back there first. You get it lined up, and then you need to line it up on the motherboard back here for the slot. And then you're going to give it a firm push when you put it in. But notice this little latch here. Make sure that locks in and is tight when you're done. It should lock itself with the force of pushing it in. So nice and firm here in the middle, on the edge, straight, square. And this is in tight. Just get my finger in there. Check, it is locked. And just for reference, this is the RAM, the random access memory on the board. That's a 2 gig chip. And then in the next video, we're going to be upgrading that and adding a chip so that we'll have a total of 4 gigs. But that's another video. You'll have to come back and check that out later. And that slides in and holds it tight and locks. And then in reverse now, we're going to undo what we did before. Well, we're going to do what we did before in reverse, basically. We're going to put it back together. This wasn't plugged in for whatever reason, but we're going to plug this side case fan in. Later, I'll come back and tighten up all those wires in there. I got to get in here and do some more work and get some zip ties, or I would do it now. I don't have any more of those little cable ties. I like these. I don't know why this is giving me such a hard time. It's a piece of cake. You just got to line up those little hooks that it hangs in and slide it down. And this goes in this way. Slides in. There. And we're going to field test it. We'll put the screw back in later. Now we're going to use this old Princeton monitor, and we're going to hook this up by VGA. You got all lights that monitor on. Can't get in, you got me locked out. This case, you can actually lock it so nobody can turn it on. You don't have no power somewhere.
No.
This computer was all that 15 years ago. Now this is the BIOS. I had to press delete to get into setup. I guess you can see that there a little bit. Maybe I can readjust you here a little bit so you can see better. Hopefully you can see that. And now, not everybody is going to know how to do everything, but usually a simple setup is here. You can go and load optimize defaults by moving the arrows on the keyboard, selecting that. It's going to ask you yes or no. You press N for no and Y for yes. We want it to do it. We're pressing Y for yes, and we're going to hit enter. We're going to use the arrow and move down to save and exit setup, which is highlighted in red, and we're going to push enter again, and again it's going to ask us to confirm. It already puts the Y in there, so we just press enter. Now this is most common, the easiest way to make the computer install the new hardware parameters by itself until we get Windows up and running, and then we're going to use the install CD that came with the piece of hardware. And then Windows will actually tell the BIOS, because I have it set in this machine so that it can, when it installs a new driver, and this is what it should do. So we should be good with this machine. I don't do this every day anymore like I used to, but I did build this thing from scratch, ordered every part separately and put it together. And again, like everything else on YouTube, don't take my word for it. It does come with an installation guide that you will get if you buy on Amazon like I did. And you could read through their directions. And it also comes with the software from AMD, which we're going to install. Okay, we're back. What you missed was my password for Windows and my computer, and I put the CD in a CD drive, and this come up, and it was asking me, it wants to install drivers, and I'm going to cancel that because I think the way to go is to actually look at the disk, browse, and go to the CD-ROM drive and see and open the software and let the new version of the driver software tell Windows what the deal is, because we're running an old version. This is Windows XP we're running, 64-bit system. Computer's having a rough time. I don't think it was fully finished starting Windows, and then it's hung up on itself a little bit. It wants to run that software for the drivers. And as you see now, we have it running. It's verifying the install. Obviously this video card is working because we're looking at it on the screen, but it needs the proper software to operate at its full potential, and that's what we're installing now. Now at this point it says we have available 7 gigabyte data available room on the hard drive, and it only needs 567 megabytes of space required, and we just simply click install and wait for the process to finish. It may or may not flicker the screen and restart by itself. If it does, don't be alarmed, just let it complete doing what it's doing. If you have System Restore on your computer and you know how, you should set up a bench point, a benchmark, a restore point to go back to. And you should do that anytime before you install new software or new hardware, because sometimes it don't go just right, or it's not compatible with the software that's installed on your particular computer at the time, and it could cause problems. If it does, you can go to that and do a system restore, and it goes back in the time before you installed the new software or hardware product, and reverts your computer back the way it was before you did it, as a fail-safe. It's been a long time, a couple of years, since I've even had this computer turned on. It took me a couple minutes to remember the password for Windows. So I believe now at this point it's finished, and we're going to have to restart the computer. Basically, we're going to turn the computer off and then back on, and then we're going to go from there. Okay, what's going on here? The software that came with my video card, that I bought, the drivers are for Windows 7 and newer. And as I stated, this has Windows XP in it. And the drivers weren't quite right. And if you right click my computer and hit properties, is a shortcut to get to the device manager. Okay, so anyway, it says it completed. I clicked hit install. Sorry, I forgot to hit the record button, but you can see now here it installed the Radeon card, and it's still a little confused about this. But we're going to take care of that too. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to just close out of here for now. And you see driver easy. This is the software program. Now this is a free, I paid not one dime for this program. It's still finishing to install that driver. That's why the video is bouncing around. This is all normal. Now here's how this program works here. You click scan. Can you see that there? It scans your computer, and it's going to give you a list of drivers that it can update. I usually only do the ones I'm having problems with. Sometimes it'll say there's one that could be working better and it wants to correct it, but now this is what I did the last time. I hit update and I updated that. They're saying there's an audio one it can do, Ethernet. Now over here, these are all up to date. Okay, it says up to date, up to date. Now here's some that it wants to update. So just in case this is another driver I need for that Amd Radeon, we're going to hit update. And it says automatically create restoration point. I just leave that like that. And now it wants me to upgrade. I just click the X and close it. Now it's going to download. And then it's going to install. And instead of you sitting here for 10 minutes or so while it downloads on my internet connection, I will just stop the recording and then it'll restart. Okay, as you see here now, we're at 96% downloading the driver to run that video card. There's some more software that we needed to get. And as you see here, step 2 of 3. Now it wants to install. I always just hit automatically. Sometimes automatically don't go. Wants me to pay again. I close it. Now here's a trick I learned. This is where it put the new driver, but it didn't really do anything to change the computer except put this on the hard drive. And for some reason it always don't jump in and go. So I'm just going to highlight it and then hit copy. Then close this. And now this I'm not using. I'm going to close it. And then we go back here. Alright. Stop showing me some icons or not. Yeah, alright, get out of the way. Okay. I'm going to right click my computer again. Left click properties. Go to the device manager. Now I don't know if you notice about how much faster this computer is running now, because the improper drivers were confusing the computer basically, and it makes it run slower. It'll go faster yet by the time we're done. Now it says unknown device here. There's only one left. See that? So we need to update driver. Hit next. Wants to install automatically. I'm going to hit from specified location, and then I'm going to click here, and I'm just going to backspace that all out. We're going to right click it, and then we're going to click paste. Now that's the destination where it downloaded it to, and then we're going to hit next. and give Windows here should pick it up and start throwing papers out of the file to the other one and installing it. And again, I don't know if it's going to happen, but sometimes the monitor will go black and come on and go back off and flicker and everything else while it's doing an installation, because it's resetting itself. Now that's finished. Now, if you look, we already got rid of all those yellow exclamation points that are so bad. But we're not done. What we have to do now is reboot the computer. We're going to hit restart. And then when it comes back on, that'll know that it's finalized at that point. If this computer would have had Windows 7 or higher, I would have just put that install CDN in from AMD. It would have done its thing, rebooted the computer, maybe flickered a couple times, and everything would have been good. But Windows XP, when they made it, it might not even have been able to handle a video card this big with 1 gigabyte. Basically, Windows is stupid. We got to smarten it up a little bit. But anyway, ain't these glasses cool? Woo! That's when you're contemplating. That's when you're thinking. And that's when you're really thinking fast. Okay, don't look. I gotta put my password in. Alright. Now you notice how much more vivid and clear and high definition that this monitor is, even with VGA. Now the next step, assuming everything's right here, I'm going to unhook this monitor, and we're going to unhook the computer, and we're going to take this into the other room, and we're going to hook it up to my Ultra HD 55-inch flat screen Polaroid television, and use that for a monitor. Now just once again, you're going to right click My Computer, Properties, Hardware, and Device Manager, and just double check. There's no issues. No red checks or yellow exclamation points. Okay, I'll see you in the other room. Okay, so anyway, as you can see, we moved the computer to the other room. It's up and running. And what we have for a TV monitor now, or a computer monitor now, is my 55-inch flat screen TV. As you can see, that's the TV monitor now. And I know the lighting's a little off, and there you go. Adjusting up there. There's 55-inch flat screen TV in front of my bay window. So now I would hope that you will follow the mouse on the screen and go right here and click subscribe, and go watch all these other videos. Thank you. Appreciate it. Leave a comment in the comment box below. Let me know what you think.